Hello, guys. This is going to be One Piece chapter 985, New Onigashima Project. Yeah, this chapter was pretty good indeed, I gotta say. So, I did enjoy the color spread of the supernova trio flying on top of a bird, giving rice balls. I thought that was pretty hilarious in a sense. And the start of the chapter was quite interesting. We get to see the conflict between Kanjuro and Nine Scabbards, trying to get their revenge, and they're kind of going to face off against the traitor. And Kanjuro seems to have brought some allies with him. What's noticeable is these headless samurai warriors with the headscarf, very artful of you. I think that's probably one of Kanjuro's creations anyway. But I did enjoy how Kanjuro has to spill the details of how he beat Momonosuke really badly. And there is this one little part where we see a plaster on Kanjuro's hand. I feel like that could be used later on. It could be quite useful anyway. And I don't know why Kanjuro would say stuff like that, but he just kind of makes everyone angry about stuff like that anyway. And one thing I did enjoy was the interaction between Nekomamushi and I forgot what the dog is called, but I want to say just call him the dog and the cat. So one thing I did notice is Neko, he's got a Gatling gun arm, and the dog has a sword legs. And I did like how they comment about that each other, like teasing each other. That's pretty playful anyway. And as this fight continues, I did notice the armor that one of the nine scabbards is wearing. It looks pretty dope indeed. It's like full on samurai style, and because they look like they were the most ready for oh yeah, King Noju was seems to be the most ready for fight anyway. She got the whole he got the whole samurai armor thing. It looks pretty dope as well, and the floral patterns as well. It looks very menacing indeed, and they look like they're going to be clashing with Kanjuro. And I would have thought, if anyone's going to clash with Kanjuro, it'd be Kiyomon because he's kind of like the leader in a sense, because he's the one who's had the most development and screen time. But nevertheless, so the battle rages on, and to be honest, if we're talking about how much I enjoyed like the red scabbards and stuff, they're probably quite low on my list of priorities. I'd rather see more screen time of Luffy and everyone else instead of the nine scabbards, because I see that's a bit of a background thing. I don't really enjoy that as much. But nevertheless, obviously, it is essential to the plot. But so that's where the fight begins, and the fight has just begun. I want to see how that fight will develop. So later on. Okay, and then we go back to what I really wanted to see, which is Luffy and Yamato actually having a conversation. So this is where Yamato reveals that he's spoken to Ace before, and also we get a bit more information about Yamato's relationship with Kaido. From what Yamato is saying, she doesn't really like Kaido because Kaido has abused her a lot and is beating her a lot. So that seems like something. And what's quite unusual is how untrustworthy Luffy is, because usually in these situations, Luffy is the one who's very willingly trusting people and very naive in a sense. He like trusts people a bit too blindly, but in this sense, he's quite he's quite paranoid and suspicious, and especially with this thing, we learn that uh, Yamato has these what do you call it, chains around her arm which blow up if she leaves the island, and this is very similar to what the chains around Kami had and the chains that Luffy has around his neck anyway that blow up. And Luffy has the ability to take them off, and he even offers to take them off. But he also says that on the condition that he Yamato better be ready to help. So that's pretty crazy. And what's more is before Luffy can take them off, we kind of switch over to Kaido's situation, and he seems to be projecting this message to the big screen. And this was really big news for me, and I thought this was crazy what Kaido does. So we learned that his his goals and motives have changed now, and he's going to kind of cause a war and go after the ancient weapons. The ancient weapons have been they've been what do you call it? They've been mentioned here and then. So it's going to be interesting how they can get the ancient weapons anyway. And with the reveal of the what do you call it? The alliance with Big Mom now. So Big Mom's here as well. This is like the official bounty. I mean, what do you call it? The official what do you call it? Union of the two. So that's pretty crazy. And what else is? how the goals align. But obviously, I can definitely see Big Mom and Kaido kind of trying to betray each other at the end, because that's just how pirate alliances usually end up, especially two people of this kind of character. Anyway, I mean, they even said that they were going to fight to the death after they accomplished their goals together. So that's obviously going to break down anyway. And with this, they've declared their goal, which is now trying to find the ancient weapons. So that's going to be pretty crazy. And if we're talking about ancient weapons, quickly, we have seen most of the ancient weapons if we think about it. Poseidon, which is actually a person, which Shirahoshi is Poseidon, so she is one of the ancient weapons. And Pluton, which was the ship, if I recall, um, that's unless there's already a ship that has been built, like the unless the Pluton has already been built by someone else, the blueprint for the Pluton has been removed from the Earth by Frankie and his little flamethrower. So the only person who knows how to build Pluton would be Frankie if he actually read it in the first place. So with that, there's only one other weapon. So because if we think, let me Google it real quick. One Piece ancient weapons. Yeah, because I recall there was three weapons, and if we know about Shirahoshi, so and that's one way to obtain it by taking over Fishman Island. Pluton Pluton is destroyed anyway, and Uranus. Actually, it says that there's nothing about Uranus. We don't know anything, so they could potentially get two of the three of the ancient weapons, considering that Pluton is no longer available, and also what's that guy called? Kaibaru, that guy who overheard Luffy's conversation about Shirahoshi being what you call it, an ancient weapon. He's the only one who knows that. So he's going to be a major player if he's the one snitching to Kaido and Big Mom, or if he's already told them because Drake was the one who kidnapped him. So if Kaido already knows that Shirahoshi is the ancient weapon Poseidon, then that could be quite what you call it, a bit worrying some for Luffy, and especially for Luffy and Jinbei, because Fishman Island is under his protection, and because he cares about those people, and they're probably going to go wreck it. So that's going to be interesting if that how it plays out, or they could just go after Uranus. So that would be quite interesting because we know nothing about Uranus anyway. And the most shocking thing that happened in this chapter was Kaido kind of betrays Orochi, because they've been working together for a long time, but it's always been a very one-sided relationship in a sense that Orochi needs Kaido, whereas Kaido never needed Orochi in the first place, because the way Orochi always flexed his muscle was because he knew Kaido had his back. And in this moment, Kaido being the more stronger being and the more stronger force, he kind of just wants to take over. And Orochi does he does clap back, saying, "Oh wait, well, what about that?" And the way the way Kaido replies is really crazy. He slices off Orochi's head, and I never thought this would actually happen like this. And it feels a bit too easy the way Orochi died. There's a lot of speculation saying that because he's got like a Hydra type of devil fruit, then he only cut one of his heads, so there's a good chance that Orochi might still be alive. But I don't know, just getting your head chopped off. There's not really many ways to survive that anyway. But that's pretty crazy and brutal. I did not see that coming. And if Orochi stays dead, then good, because he's kind of a scumbag that deserved to die anyway. Um, but with that, that was pretty crazy. And then Luffy and Yamato seem to fall through the little crack that they were looking through. So this is going to be a lot. It's going to be very chaotic, seeing what happens next. And another thing that I did notice was what is it called? Let me scroll back to the top. It looked like Oh yeah, it looked like Nami and Carrot have actually been captured from the looks of it by Big Mom, so that's going to be quite troublesome. More hostage situations. And I thought they would have got away with it, but obviously Big Mom lives up to her reputation of being a Yonko. It's not easy to get away with someone like that. But nevertheless, I thought this chapter, in terms of pacing and story progression, it was very impressive. The information we got, there's a lot to take in this chapter anyway. But I've got to say that little plot twist at the end was pretty crazy indeed. And we now know what Kaido and Big Mom's plans are, especially with the ancient weapons. But I'm looking forward to how this all progresses, and hopefully Orochi is dead for good and he doesn't come back. But he could come back, so let's see how that plays out.